Joe Siracusa. He's an author and professor of security and diplomacy at Curtin University. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the program. I first want to get your thoughts on the outcome of the meeting between the two presidents, and then we'll move on from there.
Okay. My pleasure to be here this evening. Look, I think it was a pretty good meeting, and it came at a very important time. I mean, I think the risk of accidental war with China is at the greatest level since the Cold War. It's a meeting that had to take place, and it was. I think the fact that the meeting took place at all is a recognition of how important it was to me. China and America are the most important relationship in the world today, and the great defining issue between them is what happens to Taiwan. So I think it was very important for them to discuss this. It was very important for President Xi Jinping to restate the position on Taiwan, and I think it was equally important on the part of President Biden to say he accepted the Taiwan solution, which is to accept that there is only one China and Taiwan is part of it. So I think they've sort of drawn the battle lines, and there could still be mistakes in calculations, but I think they found a little bit of an off-ramp today, which is important.
Right. It is important, definitely, because we're talking about the two biggest economies, two world powers here. How important is it that they stay on good terms for countries around the world, not just for them, but how does their relationship affect the rest of the world?
Well, it's a multiplier effect. For example, here in Australia, China's the #1 trade partner, also with the United States and with the European Union, and probably a lot of other places too. So if there is an all-out trade war, or if there is a real conflict, the economies and across the world are hurt. So you get this sort of escalating effect of a downturn in the economy, and it would be sending poison to the whole international economic system. Everything would halt, and then physical conflict would take the place of commerce and trade and that kind of thing. So I think it would have a major impact on the world's economy. And if this war, if it does get to a war, and it's going to be nuclear in 15 minutes, because the United States will not sustain heavy losses in that part of the world, I mean, then we're going to have to deal with nuclear winter and all that kind of stuff.
Right, and both presidents are facing domestic concerns. How will repairing relations between each other help both leaders regain supporters within their own countries?
Yes, I know that President Xi is having trouble with his economy. He's having trouble with his trade relations and some of the property developers there. And he's got to keep the people happy in order to maintain his position in the Chinese Communist Party. President Biden has a different problem. He's underwater with his approval ratings. That is, more Americans dislike him than like his presidency. 75% of Americans think they're going in the wrong direction. But the big difference is that no matter what happens at a meeting like this, the American Congress, that is the Democrats and the Republicans, have an anti-Chinese bias for the past 4 or 5 years as a result of the South China Sea and human rights. And so in a way, there's almost nothing President Biden can do to assuage the concern of Republicans and Democrats. And keep in mind, this is something that both sides of the aisle can agree on. There is a war party in America. I'm sure there's a war party in Beijing, and so that's the problem.
Definitely. Joe Siracusa, it's always a pleasure having you here on TR2 World. Thank you so much for sharing that insight with us.